Kyle Rittenhouse has betrayed Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. Online at laportaroofing.com. All right, let's get to Kyle Rittenhouse and what happened today. He dropped a video, which I'm going to play in just a moment, where he denounced Donald Trump and then said that he is writing in Ron Paul, not Rand Paul, but Ron, R-O-N, Rand Paul, the daddy. And MAGA people around the country, including me, are really ticked off at this. And this is a 100% betrayal. Donald Trump and the MAGA movement stood by Kyle Rittenhouse during that entire trial. His legal team that got him the not guilty verdict was paid for by, well, not just Ricky Schroeder. Ricky Schroeder helped a lot, but his legal team and he and his family were supported financially by the MAGA movement. And he's had a lot of support, right? Charlie Kirk at Turning Point invited him, brought him into the mix and everything. And then all of a sudden, he comes out with this. Let me play the video, then we'll talk about it. By the way, Kathy is back. You were off on the last podcast, and Kathy's back. Okay, so this is Kyle Rittenhouse's statement that he's reading. He made a video that's supposed to look like a candid video. He's outside, dressed kind of strange. He's wearing leather suspenders. Very strange outfit that he's wearing. He's outside looking casual, but he is obviously reading what it is that he's saying. Listen.
You can tell.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse, Outreach Director for Texas Gun Rights. A lot of people are upset that I said I'm going to be writing in Ron Paul for President of the United States. And that is true. I will be writing in Ron Paul. Unfortunately, Donald Trump had bad advisors making him bad on the Second Amendment, and that is my issue. If you cannot be completely uncompromisable on the Second Amendment, I will not vote for you, and I will write somebody else in. We need champions for the Second Amendment, or our rights will be eaten away and eroded each day. I support my decision, and I have no takebacks.
Okay. All right. Now,
you might regret saying that.
And no takebacks. Okay.
That sounds just so juvenile.
Yeah. Well, he's juvenile.
No takebacksies.
Yeah. Now, exactly.
I mean, what is he, 10?
Yeah. I know that a lot of people, including me, typically may say, who cares what Kyle Rittenhouse says? A lot of people do, actually, the MAGA movement. That's why they supported him for so long. But a lot of people I noticed on X today are coming up with excuses for Kyle Rittenhouse by saying that he's, he's libertarian, he's in with the libertarians, and this is like, this is not that he's in with the libertarians. Kyle Rittenhouse has been bought and paid for by never-Trumpers. Now, those never-Trumpers may be with organizations like this that are libertarian organizations and things, but they are never-Trumpers first. And what he is in his youth is a useful idiot.
Yeah.
Right?
Clearly.
He's a useful idiot. And he really he's made, because the timing of it and everything is so bad, because we're less than 100 days away from the election. A lot of people are saying he's Ron DeSantis himself. He's done worse than DeSantis, okay? DeSantis, what he did is very bad. He'll never be forgiven. We'll never trust Ron DeSantis. But he's out now, right? And that's kind of, been over for a while. We're less than 100 days from an election. And then a guy that MAGA stood by comes out and does this. He's on the you-know-what list, the S list.
I think that the only thing this is going to do is...
I unfollowed him on Twitter, by the way.
The only thing this will do is affect him. His coming out for Ron Paul will not move one vote, will not affect anybody's opinion at all. There are a few conservatives, well-known like the Quartering and other people that are saying he has a right to his opinion and he's a kid and blah, blah, blah.
It's America.
Of course he has a right to his opinion. Nobody's arguing that. The problem is when he was up for murder charges, 2 murder charges, by the way, he would have been in jail for the rest of his life, 18 years old, so his life would have been over. People in MAGA defended him, donated money, And we defended him, and a lot of talk show hosts, a lot of people had his back. And I promise you, the people on the jury that helped convince the others to acquit him were MAGA people too. This is only going to hurt him. I don't know why. The only reason I could think he's doing this is he's getting paid to do this. He even met with Trump and took a picture with Trump and put it all over. At the time when he was getting ready to go to trial, or right after, he met him right after, I think. Trump invited him to Mar-a-Lago and met him and stuff. This is, to me, somebody's paying him to do this. It was a scripted thing he did, and all I can think of, he's got a book out called Acquitted, with his face on the cover, like Harry's book. It's so stupid. And I don't know,
cover.
I think he's trying to be the next J.D. Vance. I don't really know what he's doing, but I know he makes money going around speaking at places. That's going to stop now because he's going to get booed, and he's no longer going to have people, maybe liberals, but he's not going to have people coming up to him wanting to shake his hand wherever he goes. In fact, the opposite might happen. They might spit on him or something.
You know what's going to be like when he goes to events.
He's like a traitor.
When he goes places now, he's going to be treated like OJ used to get treated. And the thing about,
I don't think he'll get invited to speak anywhere.
He's done. Charlie Kirk,
unless George Conway sponsors.
Charlie Kirk has probably blocked his number on his cell phone already.
I mean, he might be a never Trumper thing.
If it wasn't, he was 18 during that trial. If it wasn't for Donald Trump and MAGA, he would be doing life in prison. He'd be in there 70, 80 years doing life in prison. Yep. But what's he doing now? He's going around betraying the people that stood by him when he was facing life. And, there was an article. I didn't pull this up because I didn't want to go through the whole thing. But if you remember, within the last couple of months, there was an article that we talked about on the podcast here about his mother living in poverty somewhere here in Florida. And he wasn't helping her. And, and he's making lots of money now. And when we were talking about Rittenhouse then, when that story came out, I said to you guys, just because, he used his weapon in self-defense, right, doesn't mean that we should stand by and support everything this punk does for his whole life, okay? Yep. He just...
Now he's saying in his book that, because I read an article that he grew up homeless. This is the first time I've heard this in government, like in foster care. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure his family was at the trial. And I wonder if this is Ricky Schroeder's influence. Ricky Schroeder, who we grew up watching, is like a really, if there was a radical right, he's definitely on it. And he paid for his defense for a big chunk of it. Like I said, MAGA people did donate to him too, but he paid for a big chunk. And he might have some influence over him. Maybe he's also, he's a big gun rights person.
He could be a libertarian guy.
Yeah.
No, actually, what some people are talking about is...
A vote for Ron Paul is just not, doesn't even count. It's like just not voting for Trump, that's all.
No. What people are talking about that's happened with him, this Texas group he's with, I saw some people on Twitter. There's a big never Trumper billionaire that's behind that group.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And
money.
They're saying that guy bought it. So this is not about Ricky Schroeder. It's not about libertarians. So. This is about...
He could be connected with that group.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah.
There's this rich never Trumper who rich never Trumper who doesn't is pulling a stunt using him, thinking that he'll be able to take away a few votes from Trump, a little bit of support for Trump because they think people love him.
It's a waste of money because, like I said, it will affect nobody's vote at all.
This is the thing, okay, that people got to understand. He used his gun and those guys are trying to kill him. He used his weapon in self-defense. That doesn't mean he's a good guy. That doesn't mean all of a sudden he's some political philosopher, some political guru. He was in a situation he shouldn't have been in that he put himself into a certain extent, going to those riots and everything. But those guys were trying to kill him. He defended his life. I'm a gun owner. I would defend my life or your life, Kathy. But just because someone uses a gun, their Second Amendment, to defend their life does not mean that they're a leader in the MAGA movement.
It doesn't mean they're a hero.
No, it does not.
I never saw him as a hero type. There were sometimes I was kind of on the fence about it that I talked about. with him, like, putting himself in that situation where he shouldn't have been. But when I did watch the trial, I did feel that in the situation he was in, that those guys were definitely trying to hurt him. Maybe kill him, maybe not. But his perception was they were trying to kill him.
They were.
And I do feel, if you saw the video, that it definitely was a self-defense thing.
Absolutely.
If you see the video. But I never propped him up as some big hero. But to me, this is about that every man has a price. And I'd like to know what that price was, but this is about money.
I hope it was a lot, because
I hope it's worth it, Kyle.
The MAGA train has let him off, and he's not welcome back.
He's not thinking long term.
Well, he's a kid. He's a kid.
I mean, I know he goes around and does a lot of speaking now. Trump hasn't had him at any rallies, so maybe that's part of his motivation. Maybe Trump has distanced himself from him, and his phone calls are drying up. That's kind of what I'm starting to wonder, is maybe people in the MAGA movement have stopped calling him, and the phone's not ringing, and the money's drying up. So he's latched himself onto this group for a price, because I don't see him with Trump people at all anymore. So
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the motivation.
Well, let us know.
This. He feels he feels like Trump let him down.
Let us know in the comments what you think about this. There have been other people like Omarosa, Candace Owens. There have been other people that have been in the Trump orbit that have done this kind of thing, and most often, most of them do. Omarosa was a little different, but Candace Owens, I told you, she went to the Daily Wire, and she'd go on to betray Trump after that. That was that. These never Trumpers, what they do is they go after, whether it's Candace Owens or Rittenhouse. There's some others that just don't come to mind offhand, but they go to these figures, these personalities. They bring them into the orbit. They give them this. They give them that. They prop them up. They give them money. And then they get them to trash Trump. And there will be more of these between now and the election. And I want to talk about Joe Rogan, because this discussion that's been going on today with Kyle Rittenhouse, a lot of people have been bringing up Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said Kamala's going to win. That's nonsense. Let me tell you, I am following the polls daily, almost hourly. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm watching all the polls. It's hopeless for her. The polls that you want to watch are the battleground polls, and you can follow all the battleground toss-up state polls at Real Clear Politics. Okay, there's the way that the polls operate with the Trump-hating media. They go over the national polls, which are meaningless. Everything's decided in the battlegrounds. They go over the national polls, and then they find something in them that fit their Never Trumper agenda. I give you an example. In radio, guys know I worked in radio over 30 years. The ratings system in radio, right? It used to be done by Arbitron, now it's done by Nielsen. And the way the rating system works in radio, I know quite a bit about it being in radio. The rating system is set up so that no matter what radio station you're at, no matter what format, no matter how bad it is, everyone can find something that they can point to in the ratings that make them or their station look good. Like you may be the lowest listened to station in the market, but you're number one against one-legged Armenians who bite their nails. They break things down so much. It's almost that. I know it sounds ridiculous, but they break it down like that. The latest poll, we're number one, but they don't tell you it's with one-legged Armenians who bite their nails. Okay. And they do that with the polls, okay? They do national polls, and then they'll pull something out and say, oh, look. Not only is Kamala Harris behind in all the polls against Trump, Trump's been gaining.
And the stock market's crashing today, by the way.
Okay, well, let me finish with it. But the Trump has this week gained in the polls, okay? He's gained in the polls. So getting back to Joe Rogan.
Well, and on top of that, you and I watched a little bit about Number today, and Kevin McCarthy was on.
Yes.
And he, I wanted to hear what he had to say. I've never really, I don't think I've ever seen him on that show. And he said that Kamala, he's a California guy. He said not only is Kamala from California, she's from San Francisco, which is the most liberal city in the country. He said that is as hardcore as you can get. And he said every election she's ever had, she burns bright in the beginning and then it fizzles out. Yeah. And he said, so this momentum behind her, he said it will not last. He said, because people figure out what she's all about very quickly and she's too radical and her record comes out audio. We've already seen videos and he said, screaming at people about Merry Christmas and all this. He said, they're seeing the real Kamala and she's not a good person. She's not nice. She's a bitch, basically, and people don't like some woman screaming at. I don't like anybody screaming at me. Like when Biden gets all angry and yelling, I don't like that either.
Dark Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see Trump screaming at people and yelling at people ever. He's always got the same demeanor all the time. He's pretty consistent.
Even when he's being confrontational, he's not yelling.
I mean, the guy's been shot at.
He's been shot.
He's been shot, and he still comes out and jokes about it and has a good attitude about it, even though he knows there are people around him trying to protect him that are not doing their job for whatever reason. But I thought that was interesting what McCarthy said about her.
It is. Yeah, it is. And he knows. And there's some talk, I've heard people say in the last week, that Kevin McCarthy may be Trump's chief of staff in his second term.
I think that definitely could happen.
That would be good. So Joe Rogan says Kamala's going to win. And a couple people called me about this on the radio this morning. That's why I bring this up. And people are talking about Joe Rogan since this stuff with Rittenhouse today.
Right.
This is what's happened with Joe Rogan, okay? Last week, we talked about this on the show last week. It was insane. Tucker Carlson's podcast became number one, beating Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like out of nowhere.
I did not even know Tucker had a podcast, and I still haven't listened to it. So I don't know. I'm assuming what it is his X show. It's the audio on podcast. So Tucker Carlson became number one. Joe Rogan's now number two, which is pretty good. It's still good, but Joe Rogan is being paid over $100 million with this podcast deal he has. Tucker Carlson's doing it for free. And what's going on with Rogan is this. He's in an anxiety state because he's getting paid over $100 million because he's the number one podcast. Tucker Carlson came around, became the number one podcast, knocked him to two, and he's doing it for nothing. So what he's doing is a couple of things. One, he's in a state of anxiety. He's having a panic attack over this. Whether it's rational or not, he's having a panic attack. So he's doing a couple things. He's acting impulsively. He's trying to be controversial to bring attention to his show, to get people to listen, to try to get back on number one. But he's angling for a Kamala Harris interview. And he thinks if he gets Kamala on his show, that'll boost him back up to number one over Tucker. That's what he's doing, I think.
I think that he maybe sees that since Tucker's beating him now, and Tucker's clearly MAGA and Trump guy, maybe Joe Rogan is trying to go back more to the liberal side or more of center. When you're number one like that, and he was number one for a brief time, it's been knocked off his pedestal already. But when you're number one, he's making plenty of money, but this is about ego more than money.
Well, he has to re-up his deal.
And no, but he I don't think it's about that. Men have fragile egos. People do, but men especially. And I think he's humiliated. The Tucker, who people didn't even, like you said, I didn't even know he had a podcast.
And he's number one.
That he's number one now and kicking his ass. And he obviously can't handle it. So I don't know, but I have breaking news, which is good news for Trump. Ryan Fournier, who we follow, who's in the know, and I've seen this on a few tweets, Judge Chutkan, who's that female black judge the J6.
That's the J6 judge. She's the judge appointed by Obama that was Hunter's boss at the law firm.
This is breaking news. Judge Chutkan's order against Trump that denied him presidential immunity has officially been vacated, thanks to the Supreme Court ruling.
I'm not sure what that means. So the case is out?
I think so. That's dead in the water.
They're all out.
Water.
Yeah,
so that's a big one. So that's two. The one here got thrown out, which we knew it would.
The documents case in Florida. That's out.
Then that was in Fort Pierce. This one now has been vacated. I'm not sure what that means in legal terms, but I've seen. So that to me
That means it's gone.
It's gone,
empty.
or it's
vacant means empty. It's gone.
Vacated means you've leave
left.
it. You leave it.
Empty, so left. You're out.
Exactly. So all that is falling apart
empty.
now. So I'm sure Trump is very, very happy about this. And I will say he has a big rally tomorrow in Atlanta in the exact same venue where Kamala had her rap concert. So if you live anywhere in Georgia, because Atlanta is like in the northern central part. I lived in Atlanta for a while. Brian and I have been there. It's the northern part of the state. But if you live anywhere in that area, Tennessee, anywhere within 6 hours of driving, please go to this rally and show your support, because we want, especially for Trump to just, I'm sure he will, to fill out this venue. And he always talks about the crowds outside, and I know he's being honest. And then on Twitter, I saw his one rally he had indoors last week. They showed the outside crowd. I couldn't believe the amount of people that were outside that could not get in. There were more people outside than inside, and he had said that, and it was true. Somebody made a video. It was incredible. But if you're in that area within driving, please go to the rally tomorrow. Very, very important. I'm sure he will talk about this case being vacated. That's everything is falling apart. All we need now, I just am concerned about these 34 convictions.
That one's going to go away
Fonnie,
too. That's going away
that's
too.
Obviously, I don't even know. He's getting sentenced by Mershon. That was in New York. I'm sorry, in New York with let's see what happens with that. I haven't heard anything about that, and you never know. We could just hear one day it's been dismissed or vacated. So that's good.
Now, if you're watching the news, as I know you guys do, you've probably seen that there's a big storm coming towards Florida, and most of the state of Florida is now under a state of emergency.
Yes.
Which is, there are 54 of our 67 counties are under a state of emergency. If you're in Florida and you got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He covers pretty much the whole state of Florida. If you need a new roof, he can, of course, give you a new roof, and do all that work for you. But if you just need a simple repair, he'll do that for you too. He works on every type of structure. He works with every type of roofing material. He doesn't just do single-family homes. He does municipal buildings, churches, schools, warehouses, office buildings, whatever type of structure. He works with every type of roofing material, but he also has the very same roof tiles that Trump has on the roof of Mar-a-Lago. So if you would like
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you'd like to have the same roof that Trump has on Mar-a-Lago on your house or your office building, you can have it.
How cool would that be to tell your friends?
Oh, yeah, man. Who has that other than Trump?
And Trump's got great taste.
Absolutely. So if you're interested in that, when you call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, just ask him about the Trump roof. He'll know what you mean.
So you want the MAGA tiles.
Yeah, that's right. The Trump roof. He'll know exactly what that means. Now, I'm going to give you his number. You can also find him online at laportaroofing.com. But this number I'm going to give you is his cell phone number. You can call or text him. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And if you don't believe that's a cell phone number, call. He'll answer, all right? 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. We're going to take our first break and be right back. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere.
Are you ready to transform your living space with a touch of modern elegance and quality craftsmanship? Look no further than AlphaFurnishings.com. AlphaFurnishings.com is your go-to destination for premium metal and acrylic furniture legs that are truly exceptional. They have a wide range of sizes and a spectrum of vibrant colors so that you'll find the perfect match for your furniture. Their exclusive features make each furniture leg a masterpiece, just waiting to enhance your home decor. Whether you want to have a contemporary makeover of your sofa or a cabinet that's in need of chic transformation, AlphaFurnishings.com has you covered. Their goal is to make a difference in furniture design. They create innovative products that can save and modernize your furniture. They've gone from a small apartment to 2 warehouses, and they have a simple message: small spending, large return, and an instant facelift. Elevate your home with AlphaFurnishings.com. You can also find them on Etsy. Just search for Alpha Modern Furnishing. Go right now to AlphaFurnishings.com and begin your furniture transformation journey. AlphaFurnishings.com. Are you ready to cleanse not just your skin, but your soul too? Then visit sparkle2clean.com. That's the number 2. Sparkle2clean.com is your destination for all natural beauty and wellness. Sparkle2clean.com offer handmade soaps as well as skincare products that are crafted with nature's wisdom as well as modern science. Their divine radiant soap is enriched with the golden wisdom of turmeric. It purifies your skin and your spirit, washing away negativity and leaving you radiant. The Sun-Kissed Apricot Bliss Soap is a luscious journey into skin-nourishing bliss. It lets the natural goodness of apricots gently exfoliate and hydrate your skin. It'll leave it silky smooth and refreshed. Sparkle2clean.com also have a line of holistic skincare products that nourish not only your skin, but also uplifts your spirit and awakens your inner essence. It's time to embark on a journey where skincare becomes a sacred ritual. Illuminate your true essence with products designed to restore balance and harmony to your life. Visit sparkle2clean.com. More than just skincare, it's a spiritual experience. Sparkle2clean.com, illuminating your inner spirit. Are you looking for that perfect personalized gift? Then check out MAUSA Co. on Etsy.com. They have everything from custom portraits and magnets to stickers, mugs, tumblers. They also offer sweatshirts and tote bags. And that's just the beginning of their incredible inventory. Send in a photo of your pet and they'll create a beautiful digital portrait or poster just for you. And soon, their Christmas ornaments will be available. Enjoy discounts of up to 50% each and every day. Start shopping right now at MAUSA.etsy.com. That's MAUSACO.etsy.com. You can also find them on Instagram and Pinterest. MAUSACO.etsy.com. Are you ready to transform your life and align with God's purpose? Then order your copy of the book from author Gary S. Park, Unlocking Your Faith, Seeking God's Purpose, A Journey of Faith, Overcoming Life's Challenges, and Embracing Spiritual Growth. In this inspiring book, the author takes readers on a transformative journey, shifting your focus from self to living with God. You'll unlock profound insights on embracing the teachings of the Word of God and discover how to infuse your daily life with spiritual meaning and purpose. With Unlocking Your Faith, you'll learn the essential elements of nurturing a robust prayer life and how to cultivate a mindset anchored in faith and positivity. You'll also gain valuable insights into the power of community and fellowship in strengthening your spiritual journey. Unlocking Your Faith, Seeking God's Purpose, A Journey of Faith, Overcoming Life's Challenges, and Embracing Spiritual Growth from author Gary S. Park is the book you've been waiting for. It's available on Amazon and the author's website, GarySPark.com. That's S as in Samuel. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So during the break, a whole bunch of stuff has broken.
Okay, so not only was Trump's case vacated.
This is the J6 DC Judge Junkin case.
They also have to pay Trump $3,200 and some change.
Goodness.
So he's getting a bit of a refund here. I'm sure he's owed a lot more, but that's probably in filing fees or something. You know what I mean? Like things like that. But so that's falling apart. And they're also, like you talked about this morning, investigating now the Judiciary Committee, Merchan's daughter and her connection with the Biden campaign.
Well, okay,
so all of this is going to help.
The judge's daughter in the New York case, Judge Merchan, the corrupt judge whose daughter has is part owner. She's a partner in that campaign. Judge Merchan's daughter, one of her clients is the Kamala Harris campaign, okay? And and the Republicans are going after this. That's insane. That's just completely insane. Yeah. Now, I wanted to share this. This is a spokesperson from the American Firearms Association.
Yes.
It's not the same gun group that Kyle Rittenhouse is with, but he just dropped this video, and I wanted to share this with you.
We want to address something really quickly here about this whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Here's the brass tacks. Gun owners have 90 days left. We've got 90 days until this election is here. And there are two people on the ballot, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Nobody else matters. No other parties matter. No other candidates matter. No other candidates from the early 2000s matter anymore. It's Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. So here's what we need to do. Gun owners from every walk of life, from every party, from every faction, whether they've used a gun in a self-defense situation or not, must unite all the way across the board to stop Kamala Harris's gun confiscation agenda from ever being implemented. Full stop. She has told all of America in the last week that she wants nothing less than the total destruction of our Second Amendment. She wants AR-15 bans. She wants a national red flag gun confiscation law. She wants mandatory gun buybacks. She wants government jackboots kicking down your doors and taking away your ability to stay free. Never Trump dumbasses like Kyle's groomer here, Dudley Brown from the National Association of Gun Rights, are total fools who cannot see what time it is in America. They should be ignored completely and totally. We cannot afford to get sidetracked by that kind of stupid foolishness. Kyle, fix this F up. Dudley, go away and never come back. And gun owners, like President Trump said with his fist in the air, it's time to fight.
Yeah,
I think he said it better than anybody.
This whole thing with Kyle, I want to finish up on this before we move on to some other things. It stinks, okay? These never Trumpers, they hate Trump and they hate us, and they think, those of us who support Trump, these never Trumpers look at us the same way that the Democrats do. Remember when Obama said, the Republicans are going to grab their guns and their Bibles? They think we're a bunch of yokel fanocles that are married to their cousins. And when we hear something like this from someone like Rittenhouse, that everyone, oh my goodness, we got to. Kamala Harris, what Kevin McCarthy said on Fox News that Kathy was talking about in the first segment, is so right on. She's not just a California liberal; she's a San Francisco liberal.
Right.
That's the most radical liberal place in this country. And I was reading some stories about her that were out of the local San Francisco papers when she was district attorney. She's done terrible things. She made a plea deal that let a murderer out of jail in exchange for testimony against someone else.
Yeah.
A few months later, he murdered someone. There was a guy that she made a deal with as district attorney who was a stalker. Didn't go to jail, made a deal with him. A few months after that, he went on to kill the woman he was stalking. There's a story today, an 18-year-old illegal that was in custody of the border czar, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and released, raped and murdered an 11-year-old girl. And I was talking to people on the morning show about these biological men boxing the women in the Olympics. And they've been doing it again today.
Yeah, guy just won from Taiwan.
Yeah. If Kamala Harris would have come out today or yesterday and defended women and took a strong stand against the transgender biological male boxers beating up women in the Olympics, and she came out and was angry about it and said she would gain so much support in the polls because women would flock to her. But because she's a San Francisco liberal, she thinks that these transgender biological men are like Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, that they're great role models and heroes that are breaking glass ceilings, as opposed to being women beaters.
Yeah, but that won't happen, and it's amazing they allow these guys, and I saw the interview with the guy who's in charge of like making these decisions at the Olympics. And he says, we don't want to go back to the place where we're testing for genders and all that. Here's a test. You make them drop their pants. And if they got a penis, they're a man. Simple. That's a simple
Kathy, you told me
way
something.
to test
You told me something that blew my mind. Okay, the boxing match yesterday, biological guy that beat up the woman. The girl stopped the fight 46 seconds
she was afraid she was going to get killed.
She said she would be killed. She's never been hit so hard.
Italian girl.
And you said you saw the transgendered woman that was actually grabbing their penis and moving it.
Yeah,
and,
just
like
guys grab their crotch. Yeah, there's video all over Twitter, and you can see it.
Well, women don't do that.
Yeah, because we don't have penises.
Now,
I almost said
some big stuff came out.
No, but what I was going to say is they're allowing these men to beat up women. They're women beaters.
Oh yeah,
but
disgusting. But
they've kicked out 2 commentators from the Olympics. One guy because he said that women are late because they're always fixing their makeup. Whatever. They kicked him out when he said that. And they kicked another guy out because he made the OK sign. And they, I saw AOC do that the other day, the last week.
And Eddie Murphy used to do it.
So he made the OK sign. So they're saying he's a white supremacist. So they threw him out and fired him. But they'll let men beat the crap out of women. I mean, Paris has fallen. The radical left has accomplished what Hitler could not. They have destroyed that beautiful city. Paris is a beautiful city. It really is. It's one of the prettiest places I've ever seen. And the food's incredible, the art, of course. But they have fallen to the radical left. And I think England sees what's happening. The England and the French don't like each other, never have. And I think they see what's happening. And that's why you see this more nationalistic movement going on in London, like a MAGA movement over there to save the country, because they see what's happened in Paris. And Paris is huge. It is a huge freaking city. And they see what's happening there. And it is what's going to happen here. It's already happening. But if Kamala gets in, and this guy's right. First of all, Ron Paul's not even running for president. So to go on a video and say you're voting for him, the only explanation is either money or he said he's all hooked up with this never Trumper.
Yeah.
So, I don't know anything about the guy. He called him his groomer, which is kind of funny, but he's all in with him. So obviously he's being influenced by this guy. And he's right. If you write in a candidate, it's a vote for Harris. It's a vote against Trump. And Kyle Rittenhouse has made his bread and butter off of defending gun owners' rights. And now he's going to help Kamala get in, who wants to take your guns. That makes no sense.
It's insane.
I mean, this guy put it perfectly.
It's completely insane.
Yeah. I mean, it has zero credibility.
What happens a lot of times with these sometimes I talk about these people that become like new celebrities, and they don't understand their support and fandom isn't about them. It's about other things, and their egos get out of control. And this is what Glenn Beck did in the first campaign of Trump's. He destroyed his career because Glenn Beck pulled a stunt like Kyle Rittenhouse did. He came out and was a never Trumper in the first campaign, and his career has never recovered from it. In fact,
he destroyed it.
He pretty much lost his company, and everything else over it. And he was a lot bigger than Kyle Rittenhouse. And I tell Kathy all the time, if I became like super famous, this would never happen to me because I've been on the radio since I was like 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. So my whole life I've had some little bit of celebrity, the little tiny bit, like I have to. And what happens to these people, they become overnight sensations. And then they start to think that they're like cult leaders, that they can influence people.
Yeah.
And if Glenn Beck, this happened to Glenn Beck, because Glenn Beck, if you remember, he did that event at the National Mall in Washington and like 50,000 or more turned out.
Incredible. He was huge.
And Kyle Rittenhouse, since his acquittal, has been on the speaking circuit, and every time he walks into a room, thousands stand up and cheer. So they start to believe they're cult leaders and that people will do what they tell them to do.
He's been out with Trump for a while, though, because like I said, I have not noticed him at any rallies or any affiliation with Trump at all. And that to me speaks volumes. So I think his motivation, maybe he's been with these never Trumpers for a while. I don't know, but Ron Paul's not running, and to be a supposed gun rights advocate,
crazy,
and then help the person who wants to take away your guns win an election is crazy. Is just
It's crazy.
Blatant stupidity.
Now, there was a lot of news came out about the Secret Service yesterday, and the Secret Service press conference just ended a little while ago. And I was waiting to do the podcast to see the press conference, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, it was insane. But what came out of the Secret Service yesterday, there's been talk going on since the shooting happened, which is 3 weeks ago, right?
3 weeks on
3 weeks ago Saturday.
Tomorrow, yeah.
And it's hard to believe it's been 3 weeks already since President Trump was shot.
Yeah, July 13th.
But there was a lot of talk from the beginning that Trump's immediate Secret Service detail, like his personal detail, had been requesting more resources, and they were denied, and things were cut back and everything else. And then they had the hearing this week in Congress with the acting director that replaced the lady Cheetos, his name's Roe. And they kept pressing him, who made the decision? Who made the decision? And he not only did not answer the question, he kept acting as if there's no one person who makes a decision. There's a process, and it's a big mystery, and nobody knows who makes decisions.
That's how they cover their ass.
Well, then it came out yesterday, Josh Hawley, who's amazing, he has at least one whistleblower. He probably has multiple whistleblowers, but he's implying it's one so that, not to give him. A whistleblower gave information to Josh Hawley that he went public with, that the new acting director, Roe, he's the one who personally denied this stuff to the Trump team, including cutting back on the advance team. So he's responsible for the whole thing. So early today, they announced there was going to be a 2 p.m. Secret Service press conference. And I'm like, well, with these news stories that have been out, these are going to be big. This press conference is going to be an amazing one. And it was the opposite. But I always, before all this stuff, I used to view the Secret Service as this very elite brotherhood that was dedicated to protecting the presidents, no matter who they were.
Well, I think they were.
Well, I don't know.
They've been corrupted.
I don't know. And we had talked about for a long, long time during these corrupt trials that if the judges sentenced Trump to jail, the Secret Service would never allow that to happen. Now, I think the Secret Service would have turned Trump over to the bailiffs, and he would have been on his own in Rikers Island. I don't think that the Secret Service would have protected Trump if this Judge Mercan sent him to Rikers Island.
Look, we all saw the video that came out with the guy who got shot. He released his video a couple days ago, and it was absolutely jarring where you see the kid running across the roof.
Yep.
Now, I know he was 140 yards away, which is a little more than a football field and a half. But when you see this video, it looks like he's 50 feet away.
Yeah.
That's how well you could see him. It was so close. And he's running. You can see him literally running and setting up his gun. There is no way in hell that they did not see this kid. First of all, they came out and told you it was obstructed by trees. That was baloney. Because we saw in the video, this guy was behind Trump. This guy, he got shot. He was to the left. Like if you're facing the audience, he was like on the left side of Trump, if you're behind Trump. So you saw it from his point of view, his vantage point, which was where a lot of Secret Service agents would be also behind Trump. There is no way they did not see this kid at all. And so I'm not saying they were in on it, but they sure as hell left him vulnerable and didn't stop it. And I think that's obvious for whatever reason, and I'm not impugning the entire organization, but somebody made a decision or was involved. We're never going to know, I'm afraid, that put Trump in danger and could have cost him his life, got a guy killed. There is no way in hell they did not see this kid or did not know he was there in time to stop it. I mean, you could see him running across the roof, and that would have been plenty of time to get Trump off that stage. All they had to do was bring Trump behind the stage. That stage, Dan Bongino is covered in bulletproof fabric. So even the stage itself can protect him. And they could have got up behind him and grabbed Trump and pulled him behind the stage and behind the thing. I mean, that stage is like 8 feet up. Okay, it's high up. Everybody saw that kid. And so that's a lie that they couldn't see him. And there were no trees obstructing this kid at all. Guy, sorry, I don't want to say kid. People get upset. This young guy.
How about, I like Democrat donor.
There
That's
you
what
go.
I call him. The dim
Biden
donor.
lover.
The dim donor is what I call him.
So, and they want you to think because he used a gun that he's a MAGA guy. No. Sorry. That one guy in Gab said that he was very pro-Biden.
And his friends, people that knew him, said, so
why would he hurt Trump if he's a MAGA guy? That's just stupid to even think that.
So the Secret Service press conference comes on today.
Yeah.
It was a big nothing.
Yeah.
And the media are disgusting. This press conference was at the Secret Service office. There may have been 10 to 15 reporters. None of them were known reporters. They were a bunch of nobodies. And they were asking the most bizarre questions like, in the future, do you see the Secret Service reaching out more to local law enforcement for protection details? That was a real question.
They were probably members of the Secret Service.
There was not. I didn't hear any major reporters like you would normally see on TV say, yesterday, Senator Josh Hawley released a statement on X that a Secret Service whistleblower told him that you personally are responsible for the reduction in staff of Secret Service advance teams on President Trump's detail. Your response, nothing like that.
It was a dog and pony show, and every reporter, before they even asked a question, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
I heard thank you so many times.
Thank you for the opportunity. And then
that was a stage thing.
And then the director of the Secret Service would thank them for their question. It was so bizarre. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Questioning here at home with me and Kathy's more intense when we're just alone asking each other questions. What's for dinner? I don't know. Thank you, Brian, for asking. Yeah, but what are we gonna have for dessert, Kathy? What's for dessert? That was more intense.
Yes.
Although I would never raise my voice like that at Kathy.
You don't.
Unless you really deserve. No,
I might. I do sometimes, but Brian's very mild mannered.
Yeah, but no, it was a joke, and it's really sad to have to admit that people in the Secret Service are in league with these conspirators against Trump. And the thing about
but the J6 came out.
Well, hold on.
Too.
Yeah. So the thing about the Secret Service, okay. The people that are in Trump's immediate detail, like his personal detail, that are with him all the time, that have been with him for years, those guys are okay.
I hope.
But it's these extended people that they had filling in, and then the whole management and the organization. So there was another story broke yesterday that I didn't get into this morning on the morning show, but it came out that on January 6th, the Secret Service denied extra security prior to the events to Kamala Harris, who at the time was vice president-elect, right? And Mike Pence. And obviously they did that because they wanted Kamala and Mike Pence to be more vulnerable to increase the severity of the situation on January. So it turns out now that the Secret Service was part of the conspiracy against Trump on January 6th to make him to be blamed for things that he had nothing to do with.
I'm wondering if they were in on JFK.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm serious.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
It's really scary to think that these government agencies that we have always trusted.
You can't trust any of them.
To even think these things.
You can only
trust
Trump. A guy called me this morning. It was a great call. This guy called me, and he said he's got a friend who's retired FBI, and his friend told him this is how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
He said in Washington, this guy's retired FBI agent.
Yeah.
You get your pension at 20. He says you're eligible for a pension at 10 years. So he said in the first 10 years, all these guys with these different agencies, they're all gung-ho, they're okay. Then when they get past that 10 years and they got their pension secured for 20, he says then they become where they're like the Nazi guards. They'll take orders and do whatever they're told no matter what, because they want that pension. So that, no matter what they tell them, right, wrong, legal, illegal, they'll do it. And you see a lot of that with lower level guys. But this new guy, well, he's not new. This Roe that's running the Secret Service today, this press conference he had today, this guy is out of his mind. He is not lucid enough to run anything. He should be removed from duty.
Or he's just flat out lying.
No, well, yeah. But
it's a good time to listen to Dan Bongino because he obviously knows all about this stuff.
This guy that's the director is so insane.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be running anything. And Dan Bongino could very well find himself as the director of the Secret Service under Donald Trump. It is entirely possible.
He said he'd do it.
And I know he's got a big career now and he's making millions of dollars, but he's made his millions, and I think he could make it. He could leave it, be the director of the Secret Service for 4 years, and go back and make more millions. I think Bongino would be okay.
Yeah,
and
more than okay.
I could very much see that happening.
Well, like I said, it's upsetting to think about these things. It really is. But this is the world we live in. Everything seems so upside down. And the crazy thing is, I really still hope and believe that most people have common sense, like Trump always talks about. But then, I don't know, I hear some of the people that call your show, and they're just so deluded. My brother's a big liberal. He just watches MSNBC, and my mom and him got in a big fight. She told me the other day, and I said, "Stop bringing up politics, because you're never going to convince this guy." And he believes everything they say about Trump, everything, and I mean all the bad stuff. He believes everything about it. He believes that Kamala's wonderful. And it's just incredible.
He hangs on every word Rachel Maddow says. He's nuts.
I mean, it's just, but so there are people that are believing this stuff, that they're being spoon-fed, and there's nothing you can say to convince them. But at the same time, like, look at Michael Rappaport. He was, that actor, he was like so against Trump, and now he has come out and said he was wrong. He's supporting Trump now. There are people that are realizing, even J.D. Vance, that they were wrong about Trump, and they're changing their minds. So it can happen.
Now,
it can happen.
There's incredible deals at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. The $25 extravaganza, I want to go through some of the products real quick that you can get at MyPillow.com.
Oh, they got great deals.
Yeah, for just $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, okay? These are just items that are $25 with our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. The MyPillow sheets, the MyPillow towel set, the MyPillow dish towel sets that come in many different colors, the MyPillow American flag pillow, the MyPillow sandals, MyPillow slides and slippers as low as $25. These are just items that are $25. These are new, Kathy. I don't know. We could probably use some of these. Couch and recliner pillows, just $25.
I'll check those out.
The MyPillow beach towels, just $25. The MyPillow dog and pet beds, just $25.
That's just incredible.
With our promo code Kane, of course, K-A-N-E.
Yeah, and because and this is all because you're getting it direct from the factory. You're getting factory prices.
Wholesale prices.
Wholesale prices. Yeah, they ship right from the factory. It's amazing because when he first started off, and by the way, the quality is still the same.
Same product.
Still the same. It's not one of those things where you're getting cheap. You know how you go to a restaurant now and you get half the food for more money, or you know what I mean, or Publix, you buy groceries. The quality is still exactly the same, but because he is shipping it directly from the factory where they make it to you, he doesn't have to share those profits, and everybody is reaping the benefits. And I got to tell you, they just had Christmas in July all over on QVC and all these other places. So I think it's a good time to start loading up on Christmas gifts. I really do, because it comes up before you know it, and they're always great gifts for anybody you know with like new towels or the sheets or pillows. Everybody loves them. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about it.
And there's more, many more things at MyPillow.com that are at those prices and even lower. Like the MyPillow that started at all is less than $20 now with our promo code Kane. And remember, when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, you're supporting this program and all the content I bring you, the podcast, my YouTube content, as well as the radio show. Yep. So you're supporting all of those things when you use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back after this break.
Do you want to secure your financial future and start living the life that you've dreamed of? Discover the secret with the book from author Brandon Gardner, How to Secure Your Future, Why Real Estate is the Key to Wealth Building. Available on Amazon. Real estate has always been the cornerstone of wealth. From the early settlers to modern investors, it's the foundation. It's where people live, work, and play. Today, with more information at our fingertips than ever, real estate is a no-brainer. With How to Secure Your Future, you'll learn the ins and outs of real estate investing. Why guess when you can get expert advice? Take that first step to build lasting wealth with real estate and order your copy of How to Secure Your Future, Why Real Estate is the Key to Wealth Building from author Brandon Gardner on Amazon. Have you been searching and searching for the perfect action figure or toys? Your search is over with Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Eduardo's Toy Co. is passionate about making people happy with toys. They have everything you're looking for, from the WWE to the DC Multiverse, Harley Quinn, and much, much more. There's something for every collector and lover of toys at Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Need gaming electronics? They've got that too, like the Sony PSP 1000. All the prices are fair and nothing is ever overpriced. You'll also find unmatched friendliness and communication. If you have any questions or can't find what you're looking for, feel free to message Eduardo anytime and he'll get right back to you. They're perfect for gift shopping too. Visit Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Just go to Mercari.com and search Eduardo's Toy Co. That's Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Start shopping right now. Are you a free spirit? Then check out Cosmic Showroom on Etsy.com. Their exclusive collection of apparel and home decor is designed for those who love to explore and cherish the beauty of the world. Each piece at Cosmic Showroom is a unique creation by the talented in-house artist, Rena. When you visit Cosmic Showroom on Etsy, make sure to check out the Travel Couples Skeleton Woven Blanket. It's perfect for travel enthusiasts. Made from premium natural cotton, this blanket is lightweight, incredibly soft, and beautifully textured. It blends two different color threads to create a vibrant woven design. This isn't just a blanket, it's a piece of art from Rena. Whether you're looking for a special anniversary gift or a cozy throw for your next adventure, the skeleton woven blanket is the perfect choice. Buy one for yourself or give it as a gift. Start shopping right now online at CosmicShowroom.Etsy.com. That's CosmicShowroom.Etsy.com and celebrate the spirit of adventure as well as the beauty of our world with each and every purchase. CosmicShowroom.Etsy.com. Is marijuana safe? Can it cause permanent mental or physical illness? Is it a gateway drug? Should marijuana be legalized? What does the Bible say about marijuana? Find the answers to these questions and many more in the book from author and medical doctor, Dr. Raymond Wiggins, Weeding Out the Myths About Marijuana, Expanded Edition, a medical and biblical perspective, available on Amazon. As a medical doctor with over 3 decades of experience and over 40,000 patients, the author discusses the science and spirituality of marijuana. With 2 doctorates and a Master of Divinity, he's uniquely qualified to separate fact from fiction. This expanded edition brings out rock-solid medical, scientific, and biblical evidence, plus new chapters on the spiritual impacts of marijuana and unforgettable true life stories. Whether you're a parent, pastor, educator, or healthcare professional, this book is essential for anyone seeking the truth about marijuana. Order your copy right now. Weeding Out the Myths About Marijuana, Expanded Edition, a medical and biblical perspective, from author Raymond Wiggins, MD, on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. I just want to mention one thing quickly about the weather, because we're in hurricane season, right? I know there's a storm coming to Florida. Those of you that are in Florida or outside of Florida and you're interested in following these storms when they come to Florida, always follow the European model. The European model, that's the most accurate one. When they have they have those models where all those lines, it looks like spaghetti, all the lines, they're different models of the paths. The European model is always the most accurate. Always. I don't know why.
It is.
I don't know why the other models don't use. I guess whatever factors they use for the model they keep secret. But that's the one we always watch, and we're in Florida. But I'll tell you, we don't get as many hurricanes as people think. I know it seems like it, but we really don't. When's the last time we had a major hurricane hit our house?
Well, I mean, but we do get a lot of hurricanes.
Well, Florida's a big state.
They just don't always hit directly to where we are. No, but they like this one is looping around.
I would not live on the Gulf Coast. Don't live on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, there's a weird jet stream around Florida that affects hurricanes a lot, and it usually carries it under the state and loops it around to the west,
the Gulf Coast,
or into the Gulf
Tampa, and
right,
stuff,
or up into Louisiana, or it carries it up along the east coast of Florida. Just along the side up into Georgia. It's one of those two 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It rarely hits
we're on the East Coast.
Southeast Florida. Yeah. But this isn't even going to be a hurricane yet, but it can change. It's going to be like they're calling it a tropical cyclone. Still nasty, 65-mile-an-hour winds, but it is shifting a little bit.
You know, this is a weird thing.
To the west.
They call these storms cyclones now. This is new. Cyclones, I always thought they called hurricanes in the Pacific. I thought were called cyclones.
They used to say tropical storm. Now they're saying tropical cyclone. Okay, I guess because they're factoring in the tornadoes that come with it, which do.
Okay, so Kamala Harris,
the way it moves, I don't know.
Kamala Harris launched her coup against Biden, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, and today they officially gave her the delegates for the nomination. And the stock market is tanked today. It's been the biggest drop, the biggest crash in the stock market in a single day since the 2020 COVID crash, they're reporting, right? And you think, Kathy, that's got anything to do with Kamala securing the nomination?
I think it has everything to do with it.
What else? Yeah, exactly. She has not done any interviews. And the reason she hasn't done interviews is because she's scared. She's got a lot to hide. She doesn't want to answer for her past record. Her past and ongoing record. Yeah. I mean, there's so much about Kamala Harris, the things we talk about, the dead American people, and raped and murdered women of America. These things, I talked yesterday on YouTube. We all knew that she was Willie Brown's girlfriend. She was 29, he was 60, he was married. He gave her a statewide job that she only had to show up to work 1 or 2 days a month for, that paid $90,000 a year, and he gave her a brand new BMW. I mean, that's who does that? A sugar baby does that. So CNN, they were talking about how she has not done any interviews, which they say is unheard of for presidential candidates, and I think it is. Especially presidential candidates that are getting the nomination without getting a single vote. What's the point of the primaries? Why don't we just do away with primaries and just say, okay, this is the person? I don't understand why, a thing about this, the primary process, you learn a lot about the candidates in the primary process because they have opponents, they debate, they're talked about in the press, things happen, and you find out things, you're like, whoa, I didn't know that about this person. And she got to skip all that. But
it's incredible. It is the most undemocratic thing
I've never seen anything like it
I've ever seen happen in my lifetime. She was basically appointed. She has never won any delegates.
Not one.
Ever.
See, and
it's incredible to me, but they'll tell you that Trump is against democracy.
A threat to democracy.
Meanwhile, how the hell did she get in there?
Exactly.
That's not democratic.
And in the past, when they had broker conventions and there would be competition at the convention, that competition was between people that went through the primary process. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They just didn't show up and say, I'm here, I've got no votes, and make me the nominee. So anyway, on CNN, they were talking about her not doing interviews. Listen to this line of garbage.
One thing that J.D. Vance is raising, we talked about this, is he's accusing Kamala Harris of hiding from taking tough questions. She hasn't stood for facing reporters' questions in a significant way. The reason I pose this is not as selfishly. Obviously, we all like to ask some questions about evolution of positions, but also in this race to define a candidate before the opponent does. Isn't this part of it? No, it's a process. This is a process question. I mean, this is something that we all care. I mean, you guys all care about as reporters. You want to sit with her. But the truth of the matter is, when I'm sitting around my dinner table thinking about how to pay for college for my kid or about how to afford my mortgage or any of my taxes, her positions have changed. Except for the fact that she's going to spend her $300 million defining herself on TV and on social media the way she wants, right? And she's going to ultimately sit with you guys, I believe. But the bottom line is that's not what he should be coming after her on. He should be coming after her on positions that affect regular people who are voting. If you're standing there saying, well, you're not sitting for an interview, the average person doesn't have time to sit around worrying what Kamala Harris is doing. They just want to make sure she's doing something to help them. And that's the problem. That's the missed opportunity.
I think you're right. The way voters hear that, I think you're absolutely right. They don't care. Yeah. But ultimately, they might not know that they care, but they should, because we're going to ask questions that they have that they don't.
Now that's SC Cup, who was discovered by Glenn Beck. You're right. But voters don't care. They know nothing. We're smarter.
That sounds like a bunch of women. They don't know what to say. They're trying to spin it in real time, and they're stumbling over their words and trying to figure out a way to spin this that makes her look good without planning ahead of time. It's like they're doing it in the moment. Oh, yeah, you're right. What a bunch of nonsense. First of all, voters do care. And what does it say about a candidate that all of a sudden flip-flops on every single issue she's ever had? I mean, you really think that she's sincere? And all of a sudden, she's had a change of heart.
Yeah,
this radical woman who has thought these things for years and years and years, her entire career. All of a sudden, 4 months before an election, less than 100 days, she's changing her mind on fracking and guns. Give me a break. The purpose, do they really think people are stupid?
Listen. The interviews with Kamala, and not just some suck-up interview with Leslie Stahl or something, like real interviews and press conferences.
Or Martha Raddatz, whatever her name is.
Yeah, or The View. It's important for a number of reasons. One, since she just skipped the entire primary process, she never had to discuss herself or her positions on anything. Right. Okay? And
they're protecting her.
So she's gotten a free pass there.
Yeah.
And
they're
also
creating that bubble that they had Ron Biden. They're creating that bubble.
And also the interviews, you get to see someone either defend or evade their things that they've done and the positions they've taken. Like when Trump the other day, he not only does interviews, he does hostile interviews. When he went to the Black Journalist Association, that was one of the most hostile interviews ever. And he sat there and he did it. And they asked him about all the things that the biggest Trump haters would want to ask him, and he dealt with all of them. And that, I think people respect that. Kamala Harris is obviously hiding things from her own constituents. She's afraid to be asked a question. Yesterday, she did something that shows how really vacuous she is, okay?
Yeah. Well, she's afraid to go unscripted because she's an idiot.
Well, yesterday, they did this prisoner exchange, which is a scandal in itself, but I don't want to get into all that. They exchanged murderers, killers for these journalists who probably are spies, okay? The media is in bed with the deep state. These journalists that are held in Iran, North Korea, or Russia.
Planned the whole thing to let these guys go.
They're probably all CIA, okay? Yeah. But anyway, she met them at the airport with Biden, and there was a camera there waiting. She sat in her SUV for 30 minutes, 3/4 of an hour, and they could see her through the window reading the briefing and the binder that they gave her. Remember they used to laugh, Democrats, at binders when Romney said she had a binder that was her briefing. She sat there for 30 minutes and read the briefing and the binder.
Script.
She got out of the SUV, came and made a statement after 30 minutes and read from the binder. She couldn't even remember what she had read.
Yeah.
And then she walked away without taking any questions.
Remember that interview with Lester Holt where he said, "You haven't been to the border?" She said, "Well, I've never been to Europe." So what's your point? They're trying to avoid that, and they're creating a bubble around her and protecting her because they know she's a disaster when she's off. She's even a disaster, like you said, on script. Mm-hmm. So I don't agree with these women. I don't think she will ever do an interview. I don't think she will ever take questions.
No.
And they're making this
only a friendly one.
First, you had Biden who ran from the basement, his campaign. They're changing the standards of how, and they're trying to make these things acceptable and the normal. Oh, well, it's no big deal. She doesn't answer questions anymore. It's no big deal. I promise you, if she gets in, she will never have a press conference like Biden. She will never answer questions that are not prearranged and scripted ahead of time. That's become the new normal. And after a while, they figure people will just accept it and get used to it and desensitize to it, and they won't they won't be asking anymore. They'll stop asking. You know what I mean? So don't do that. Always be asking and always be wanting to hear from your politicians. We deserve that. We deserve for her to take questions and not be afraid. And she gave a speech, like you said, and then walked away from the reporters. I don't understand these journalists that aren't more outraged and just make excuses. Of course, that's MSNBC. I mean,
CNN. That was CNN.
That was CNN. I thought SC Cup was on MSNBC.
No.
Okay.
But the thing,
same difference.
The thing about this though, see, I all this stuff about Kamala Harris is all over the internet, and I believe that Twitter X is the number one news source for most people. But it's on all it's on Reddit, it's on everything. The television mainstream news is not relevant anymore. Such a small number of people watch it. Only they really do. Not many people watch it. Like they don't have influence anymore. They're not trusted.
Yeah.
And today I turned it on because I was waiting for that press conference, and I wanted to watch it on the TV as opposed to my phone, right? But that because I thought I thought he would come out with a presentation with graphics and a timeline. He had nothing, very unorganized. But the television news are the ones that are accepting of this. All this information about her, this sugar baby thing that I was talking about, and these people that were killed because of her and things. Everyone that gets their news from the internet, which I think are most voters, are seeing that. And it's obvious why she's not taking questions. She doesn't know what she's going to be asked. She could be asked about her sugar daddy. She could be asked about Lincoln Riley.
Right.
She could be asked about this guy she let out of jail with a slap on the wrist that went on to murder. She could be asked about an illegal she let into the country that raped and murdered an 11-year-old. She's afraid of everything, because there's so much there. And the television news are the more accepting they are of it, like this panel with SC Cup on CNN, the more irrelevant the news on television is going to be. So I don't think it matters. I think people are hearing it. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. And if you'd like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode of the program. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. Thank you all for your support. These are our top Patreon supporters. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.